Hello and welcome, my name is Justin.
And I'm Draven.
And you have tuned into the GreyVillain podcast. Draven, if you were part of a satanistic murder cult family, what weapon would you prefer to end up with?
I don't know, personally I prefer the elephant gun, as long as it's got real ammo this time.
Oh, well, I can't guarantee that.
Fuck, man.
I mean, those are the rules.
Oh,
I don't make them up, I just enforce them.
Damn it, Victor. So, Justin, what do we see today?
We saw Ready or Not. And it's about a wedding. It's fantastic.
It's a romance movie. It's great.
Romantic comedy.
Very feels good. Take your lover out for Valentine's Day.
I mean, it really is a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And that the lovers end up together.
Yeah, it's
at
adorable.
the end, and it's just.
It's got plenty of heartbreak in the middle to keep you invested in the story.
Yeah, do they make it? Do they not? Oh, I don't know. It's really it's fantastic.
It's a very touching family movie.
There's blood and gore and everything.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking awesome. What were your impressions of? Okay, so impressions of the movie.
Just from the trailers, I kind of had to go 50-50 with it because I thought it was either going to be one of the newer and hopefully a good horror comedy movie, because we haven't had one of those in a very long time, or it was going to be a super, too serious of a horror movie where it takes its concept way too seriously. And I was half right on both.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
So the first time I saw the trailer, I thought it was a really interesting concept. So what is this concept exactly?
So just from what we can get from the trailers, we learned that the family plays a game to introduce new members to the family. Mm-hmm. And that's really the only context you get.
It's right after the wedding night.
Yeah.
She's still in her wedding dress and stuff, and the family gets together and does a ritual game night.
Yeah, and it just so happens that this year's was hide and seek.
And that is apparently a bad omen.
The one bad one.
The other ones,
one bad one.
Yeah, other ones, chess and
checkers, backgammon.
Yeah, you could, just games.
He even said Risk.
Sure, good game. Not, the board pieces die or whatever, but not other people. This. So and then it's about this family just trying to eventually get around to killing people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
they
nice
they don't make it a secret in
the
trailers at all. So
it's a nice family bonding movie about ritualistic killings.
It's just a family coming together for the holidays and for important.
I can appreciate
things.
this as somebody who grew up in a satanistic murder cult. I can definitely appreciate this type of movie. It teaches the kids family values.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see my parents. Actually, I'm gonna leave right after we finish recording this, and so I'm getting excited.
Yeah, man. Can't wait to hear about the newest escapades from the mansion.
Do we want to... Well, let's see. How did you like this movie?
I liked it a lot more than I thought it would. My expectations were a little low going into it because I was worried it was going to be over serious, but no, it was just the right amount of meta to make it hilarious at a lot of parts, and I fucking loved the movie. So did I.
I really enjoyed the characters. They felt real, like how actual people would act in a situation where you're kind of maybe sort of unsure of, is this real?
Yeah, it's the entire, there's doubt in your beliefs and you don't want to risk it. Yeah. You don't want to risk it to find out if it's real or not, so you just go along with it.
I mean, I sacrifice people to make sure that the sun comes up every morning. It keeps coming up, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, come on. Just because there's a pile of dead bodies outside, that just... it's just for the animals. Come on.
Yeah. Well, if I don't do it, do you really want to find out what happens?
Yeah, man. Do you want to see if the sun doesn't come up? Guess what? We'll be dead.
Yeah. So just keep doing it.
Yeah, so we're just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, so both really enjoyed this. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we, or other aspects? I mean,
it's really hard to talk about this movie without spoiling, because a lot of this movie is a lot of really good lead-ups to really funny punchlines in a way. Mm-hmm. Like, this movie is back-to-back-to-back punchlines with suspense in between. It's a very well-done, high-concept horror movie.
in a brisk 1.5 hours.
Wait, no way.
1 hour, 35 minutes.
I'm impressed. We got a good 1 hour, 35-minute movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Especially because recently we've been doing 2-hour movies and then 8 hours of The Boys.
Yeah. But fantastic show.
Fantastic show. Go watch that review.
Yeah, go watch the show, listen to our review.
Yes.
And what else? Yeah, I really liked how just real the people seemed. The writing, the dialogue.
Yep.
Lots of swearing. The acting was very good.
The acting was very natural, like much more natural than I expected.
Yeah, and I don't like. Well, I said swearing, but I meant like in the context of the show or of the movie, it felt natural.
Yeah,
and just everyone felt normal.
It didn't feel like that normal R-rated movie where people just throw in profanity wherever they want to. It was kind of...
And she just like went off and just started putting words together. And
it felt like somebody who was just at their wits' end, pissed off and just wanting to get it out. And that's exactly what came out.
I mean, I would too.
Yeah, especially with that dickhead in the fucking Buick.
Yeah. And then, so anything else we want to talk about before this?
Let's go ahead and hop right into spoilers. So here's your spoiler warning, everybody.
Spoilers! All right, so we start on wedding day.
Yep, with the right before the wedding.
Right before the wedding, picture time.
Yep.
And Aunt Helene is just staring daggers.
Yeah, and she is... Go ahead.
Well, I actually want to go through the people real quick. Samara Weaving plays our main character. Mm-hmm. Grace is her name. It really almost doesn't matter what she's the blonde.
She's the blonde. Only blonde. She's the new one.
So one of the things about this movie we were just discussing before we turned this thing on, but the family are all like brown haired, dark haired, dark clothing.
Yep.
Very dark in that situation, or in that sense. But Samara Weaving, blonde, wearing her wedding dress, very bright and beautiful. Yep. And that contrast is something I really enjoyed with the movie because of it's just nice visual.
It's a good visual confirmation of what you're seeing. On top of the fact that a lot of this movie takes place in a very poorly lit mansion. So having that differential between the characters makes it really easy to tell who's running and who's doing the chasing. Yeah. And it helps a lot. Yeah, it's the movie starts at... Well, the ritual starts at midnight and goes until sunup at 6 a.m. or something. Yeah. Whenever. Could they potentially travel somewhere else to where the sun... night is a little bit longer. Try and buy themselves a couple extra hours. Alaska. Yup. Go to Alaska during the 30 days of night. Yeah, in the winter. Not the summer, but in the winter. In the 30 days of night of Alaska. Have fun there, guys. Yeah. Suddenly you have to hide for 30 days. Yeah. It's like, y'all didn't think this through, did you? Go higher on the parallels, man. Jeez. All right, so we start off wedding day pictures, and there's a bunch of subtle hints by Adam Brody, who plays Daniel. Is that husband? Yeah. Okay. No. Husband is Alex. Or Mark O'Brien played Alex. Alex and Daniel are brothers. Daniel is the older brother. Did we open on the ritual? Yeah. Yeah, we opened on the first ritual that Alex and Daniel saw. Daniel escorts Alex into a wardrobe. That's kind of how the movie opens, with them running away from the chaos. Uh-huh. And he locks him in there before the ritual actually begins. And then we get to see, apparently, the last ritual before the one we watch next. Some guy getting shot with arrows. And then he gets dragged into a room. And then Daniel is quickly escorted after him. Yeah. And we find out later that is... like I said, the last one before this ritual. Yeah, and so because it was the last one of these game nights, or, well, I mean, they do other game nights that aren't... Yeah, it's a family that, we didn't really open with saying this, but this family owns a gaming empire for tabletop games. The Ladomus Gaming Dominion. Dominion, yes, because they don't like Dynasty. They prefer Dominion. It's a bit more ominous. Yeah, it works for what they do in the dark. Yeah.
And so let's just want to go through like chronologically or a bit. Yeah. You know, so like they tell us all the backstory, and the backstory was that Grandpa was on a boat with
he was a merchant sailor.
Yeah, and he had a passenger.
Yeah,
that had that one that was into games.
He was into games, and he resold artifacts and relics to Americans. It's literally a quote.
Yeah, to stupid rich Americans.
Yeah,
pretty much. That was a subtext.
Yeah.
And so they played this game, and he's like, "Here, have this box. If you can figure it out, then you get the cool stuff." And then the guy who had the box originally, not Grandpa, but the guy who had the box, he's like, if you can figure it out, I'll fund any of your financial endeavors forever.
Yeah.
And so this family became wealthy because this guy, I guess,
even in spirit, backed them and helped them and guided them along this path to this giant dominion that they are.
Yeah.
And they still pay tribute to him every year, and then also every single time that somebody gets married into the family, they need to be initiated.
But this guy has never revealed himself, except one time we know that we hear he revealed himself to Alex, right?
Yes.
And when Alex was 5, they said. So I guess at the previous ritual. And that was because they said Alex is going to be the next leader of the family, or that was the impression. And so we have to... But they're all like, oh, but Alex is the good kid.
Yeah, and Alex also ran away from the family before this marriage happened.
So they were killing goats. They had the kids kill goats and things, probably just to prepare themselves for killing people.
Desensitize them, yeah.
Yeah, and but Alex was like, you know what? It's kind of fucked. And good call, Alex.
Yeah, good call on your part.
Yes, you figured it out. But then he was like, you know what?
What do I win? Freedom!
He's like, but you know what the problem was? It felt normal.
Yeah, because anything your family tells you to do becomes normal.
And it's
kind of a jab at tradition almost.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And I really liked that. It was just a very meta jab towards how some family traditions just go way too far.
Or just sort of religion in general. You don't have to... So part of this is that these people are doing this ritual, and they are doing it out of desperation to not lose what they have, not because they have any confirmation that if they don't do it, of what will happen.
Yeah, it's the fear of the unknown consequence. They don't they don't want to risk losing everything they've worked so hard for over not completing a ritual.
And they talk about some other people that supposedly died in a fire or something.
Yeah, or so the media wants you to believe.
Yeah, and we get an implied thing that they had, like, Dad implies that it was not.
Yeah, because they hadn't followed through with the ritual.
But
there's no confirmation, and that's like a loose degrees of connection to this one thing.
Yeah, and it's like, well, people do things because coincidence happens. And then they're like, oh, no, look, it was because of this. I asked for it, and then it happened. So it must be because I prayed about it.
Or whatever. It must be because I sacrificed 3 goats last year.
Yeah, and so, people make connections where it's not there. And so this is sort of that. And that that a lot of the family members aren't actually totally on board with doing this.
Yeah, plenty of the family members are very hesitant throughout the movie, and one of them even outright goes, why the fuck am I here? Because he has no desire to be doing this. He married into the family to get rich.
Yeah, because, wouldn't you?
Yeah, with how much money they have, fuck yes.
Yeah.
But it's just... I just felt like all these people were very human, and it's very hard to look at this movie and not see that. It's very odd because you're used to watching horror movies and people being dumb.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, throughout the entire movie, is one of the most intelligent, resourceful protagonists I think I've seen in horror movies ever, except for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which came out 30 years ago.
Sure.
But it's just a refreshing new horror movie spin.
Yeah.
And I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah. We opened with the previous, and then we get to the wedding. Is there anything else that was
the wedding was pretty quick and kind of glossed over because they were trying to get to the meat of the movie.
They did
irrelevant. A really good job cutting all the bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's
the entire opening scene from the beginning of the movie to open and the wedding was like 10 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And the next hour and 10, you're mainly doing the hide and seek game.
Yeah, so so right about midnight, they all head down to I guess they call it the study, but it felt like a billiards room.
Yeah, that's really what it was, a billiards room. Oh, no, he calls it the music room because they meet there first.
Oh, the music room and then to the game room, yeah. And so I'm gonna call it here. It's Colonel Mustard in the billiards room with the revolver.
Cue. Oh. Well, I mean...
Hey, with the elephant gun.
With the elephant gun. Oh, sorry, that wasn't loaded, so he just bludgeoned her to death with it.
And so then they all go into this room, and of course Grace isn't taking any of this seriously because she has no idea what's up.
Yeah, she doesn't fucking know. And again, that made it feel so much more convincing that she just was disillusioned with it all because she didn't know.
Yeah.
She had no reason to suspect what was about to happen.
But I guess some of the others had been informed of what was going to happen
knew
before they got married. I mean,
yeah.
The new spouses, and it's like, why would you ever marry into the family? It's like, we could just date. We could just,
Yeah, date until all of your family dies and then we get married. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh, no, we can't elope and stuff like that. It's like, well, no one's stopping you from just, like, dating.
Yeah. I mean, they even bring up the 3-year courtship thing. These guys have only been dating for a year and a half. Just keep dating for the next 10 years. Then when your parents die,
yeah, buy yourself some time.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Jeez.
You can be engaged for like 10 years. Do it.
So we learned that Grace was an orphan.
Yes, and grew up in the foster system.
And it seems like all of these guys take runaways and folks that are not don't have quality family lives, or they pull them out of trash because there's another one of the spouses came from a bad background, which she doesn't really talk about.
She also gets called a gold digger multiple times throughout the movie by her husband.
Yeah,
who's also the fuck up child and the alcoholic. So,
wouldn't you be on?
Yeah, especially after some of the shit he's seen. Yeah, I would definitely be drinking a lot at that point. It actually, when we got to about halfway through the movie, I started really feeling for Daniel because I'm like, dude, you're trying so fucking hard. It felt bad watching him go through this because he wanted to do the right thing, but he couldn't bring himself to do it because this was his life.
Well, maybe, but what happens if you don't? That's the problem. It's like, do you really want to risk it?
And
I don't. That's why I keep killing things. I need to make sure the damn sun keeps rising.
I keep holding their hearts high to the air to make sure the sun keeps coming up,
People
guys.
Just don't get it.
And the cops won't stop leaving me alone, bastards.
So, I mean, do you really want me to risk it, folks?
I mean, I can if you want to.
I just don't think
your
it's
head,
worth
not
it.
Mine.
And who are the characters? We got Daniel, we got Alex, they're brothers.
Tony's the father.
Tony's dad. Becky is mom. Emily is daughter.
One of them. Fitch is one of the guys who married in.
I think Fitch is Emily's husband. And
she's the one who cocaine is one hell of a drug.
Or is that Charity?
No, Charity is the one who's kind of a psycho bitch.
Charity's married to the
Daniel.
brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she is she's the other kind of runaway, came from a bad family.
Yeah.
Does not want to lose the riches that she has.
Yeah. I mean, she worked hard.
Aunt Helena.
And Aunt Helen.
She has the most Green Goblin-esque looking haircut of all fucking time.
And the look just on her face.
Oh my god, yeah. Every time Justin brought it up, I just could not stop laughing.
You can't, once you see it.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't take her seriously throughout the entire movie once you see that, but it's so good.
She's great. She's my favorite character.
Oh yeah, by far.
I mean, well, is she your favorite? Is Grace or Aunt Helena?
Okay, Aunt Helena is my favorite antagonist, but Grace is definitely my favorite I'd go as far as to say Grace is my favorite protag in the past 10 years.
Wow, that's a lot of years.
I mean, she's the only horror movie protagonist that I have seen in a very long time to actually be smart and not a complete fuck up and dumb. Every time we were like, no, do the thing, she actually did the thing.
Yeah.
When it came to, there was a scene where she basically has the butler cornered and about to shoot him with a gun. I was like, oh, she's gonna pussy out at this point. No, she pulls the trigger just to find out the ammo isn't real. But I mean, seriously, every chance she had, she took it. She was not playing around once she realized the game was on.
Oh, this is why it's a good movie. There's only 2 writers.
Oh, thank Christ.
Guy Busick, probably, and Ryan Murphy. And directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette. Gillette?
No, Gillette, yeah.
Okay. So
make some good
razors.
I have
no idea who any of those people are.
Yeah, I've never heard of these guys.
So, but maybe now we will.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping we get more stuff like this, because this was a really, really good high-concept horror movie.
Yeah, it's different than what we've seen in the past.
Yeah,
and very good. Plenty of gore. Plenty of
gore. Well, not only plenty of gore, plenty of tasteful gore. Like, it wasn't gory for the sake of being gory. It always had a reason. Like, they didn't do over the top for the sake of being over the top till the very end, where they really played it up.
Well,
you have to.
When people explode.
Yeah, but when Grace gets shot in the hand, it's not overdone. It's very minimalistic CG on it at first, and then it's practical effects for the most part. When you watch What's-Her-Name get shot in the face, they don't linger on the shots with her half face missing, because there's no reason to. You get the point once you see it the first time.
I love everyone's gurgling.
Yeah, because you don't die instantly when you get shot in the face. It's very rare for you to die instantly. You bleed out.
And when Aunt Helena goes over and
oh my god, so one of the other maids gets shot in the mouth with a fucking crossbow. And they start talking about the ritual. She starts gurgling halfway through it, cutting Aunt Helena off. So she fucking walks around the table with her great axe and chops the bitch's head off before wheeling her out of the room.
Yeah, before they flip a coin to figure out heads or tails.
Yeah, who's carried the legs, who's carrying the head, because that's a thing they do every single time somebody dies.
It works. I don't know. Do they have rules, or do they just...
Apparently, they're not allowed to use the surveillance cameras, because that's out of the vein of the game.
Well, no, that's a choice, though. They're not allowed.
Yeah, they're not allowed. It's in the vein of the times they're not going to. Yeah. They do, however, lock all the fucking doors in the house, which is absolutely cheating.
No, that's not cheating. That's
restricting play area, sure, but that still feels like cheating to me.
That's part of a game. Did you ever play hide and seek when you were a kid?
Yeah,
You're not going to let people just run forever.
Yeah, we did. We let people play in the entire neighborhood.
Oh, God, that's insane.
Yeah, but then again, I lived in Florida, so there was just a lot of woods everywhere.
Okay, no, because I always played just, in a yard.
Oh, in a yard? Well, I guess. I mean...
It depends on how many people you have.
Yeah, we would get, all the kids in the neighborhood together, so it was, 20 of us or so.
All right, well, yeah, in that case. But,
yeah.
I mean, you need...
Yeah, I guess it does scale with play.
So,
yeah, 3 or 4 people, yard. Yeah, makes sense.
And in this case, there was...
a fuck ton of seekers.
But it was a big house.
A metric shit ton of seekers who know that house from top to bottom because they lived there.
They do have a bit of an unfair advantage.
They have home ground advantage.
Which is mentioned.
Also, we only see Alex use the service room. The service areas in the house.
Yeah.
Which kind of... Yeah, that kind of did take me out of it a little bit, because nobody else was in them.
You would think that someone would have been wandering around.
Yeah,
I mean, you would think there's enough, like, just stay here at this cross area and
yeah,
see
you would
everything.
think they would just get a bunch of people set up on sentry posts, because searching around by hand seems super fucking tedious. Yeah. Have, like, 2 people searching by hand. You have enough people to set up guards.
Yeah.
Though, we did have a guard outside the room, but she fucked her job up real hard.
Was that, because she was that Mom, or was that...
No, that was Charity when he escaped through the secret door.
Yeah. She was watching
Alex to make sure he didn't go help Grace.
Yeah, because Alex has a soft heart, and just got
he
married.
left the family.
Yeah, and he liked tapping that ass, right?
Dat ass.
And so let's see. Midnight game time comes around, so they all end up down there, and no one's taking it seriously. And there's a little box, and the box you put in a blank card. Oh, you got something?
So you say that nobody was taking it seriously.
Well, okay, no, Grace wasn't taking it.
Grace wasn't taking it seriously because everybody else knows what's at stake, and you can feel the tension in these scenes.
Yeah, so there was just enough subtle hints throughout the way that it's like a nice little build up during the photos and that were being taken during the wedding, and he's just kind of
there's enough hints dropped, and there's enough subtle dialogue. It's a very well written opening.
Yeah, I thought it was. But as an audience member, we know what's about to start up. If you know anything about this movie from the trailers, you know what's about to start happening.
Yeah, but it's enough foreshadowing to keep you invested. You're like, oh, they're making a cheeky nod towards it, and it's seldom well done, and they did it very well in this.
Yeah. How upset do you think Aunt Helena would have been had it been like the Game of Life or something?
I think she would have sucked it up and done it anyways.
Because she was staring daggers the whole time.
Yeah,
she was super into it.
Gunning for the hide and seek card to get drawn.
I kind of wish that she was just, when hide and seek was drawn, she would just be like, yes!
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Because she was all up for it.
Yeah.
So Aunt Helena's husband was the last one that got killed.
Yep.
Or that drew the hide and seek.
The only man she ever loved.
And so she's probably been an uber bitch ever since then.
Yeah, at least in the opening she was.
Because she's like, this shit is unfair.
Yeah.
And everyone else has gotten away with it, and so now it's my turn to exact revenge or, type thing. So that's probably why she was so pissed all the time.
Yep.
She also probably hadn't gotten laid in a long time.
Yeah, 60 years. Oh,
it's
a long time.
That's piss off anybody.
So the box that got handed to the guy is still being used as tradition, and you put a blank card inside of it, and it pops out a card with the name of a game on it. And Grace unfortunately pulls the one bad card, hide and seek. Yep. So now Grace has to be escorted out of the room so they can count to 100.
They put on a little music.
Yeah, they put on an old vinyl record.
Of hide and seek.
Yeah, it was apparently a hide and seek song.
Okay.
Didn't know that existed, but the 1950s were one hell of a time. So, that starts playing, and she goes and hides in a dumbwaiter and gets very annoyed with it very quickly. She only lasts like
a minute
or two past the 100 seconds, and then decides, "Fuck it, I'm leaving." So she walks out and starts stalking around, and then she gets snatched by Alex, who pulls her into the room and gets her kind of calmed down to talk to her.
Yeah.
And as they're doing this, one of the babysitters for 2 of the kids in the house...
Yeah, so Georgie and Gabe, it looks like.
These poor kids.
These 2 kids are, they're putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
And one of the maids is saying or reading a book to him and upstairs, and then she falls asleep, the maid does, and Georgie gets up and takes off out of the room because he's aware of what's happening, I think.
Sort of. He's got an inkling. He notices that everybody's still moving around. I don't know if he'd been initiated yet. We don't really get a lot of context from him.
Well, he's the one that shoots her in the hand. So I think
but that was after a while of them chasing her around. So we don't know if he picked...
He's killed a goat. I mean, come on. Man,
okay, fair. He's probably old enough to have killed the goat by then.
And
that poor kid.
Yeah. So one of the maids falls asleep. Then Georgie takes off, and then she starts going after Georgie, and runs into Grace essentially.
Yeah.
Or starts accidentally stalking Grace.
Yeah, and she doesn't know that this girl's in on the game, so she's terrified. She doesn't even know how high the stakes are just yet.
Yeah.
But we find out as soon as the babysitter walks out of the room, there's a gunshot.
Bang!
And she falls to the ground, and you hear blood dripping and gurgling and guttural death noises.
Oh, it's great.
And then you hear the younger sister, the one who
Emily.
is very high on cocaine.
Oh man, she powders her nose.
Cocaine is one hell of a drug.
Oh god, yeah.
So she's like, I got her, and then realizes who she shot.
It's like,
and freaks the fuck out.
She's not even wearing a wedding dress.
Yeah, she's not even wearing a wedding dress. She's wearing all black and has black hair. Obviously the wrong one. Well, while they're dealing with the body, Alex and Grace dip into the service tunnels and start to deal with this and talk about it. Because now she's in full freak out mode. She just figured out what's going on.
Yeah, Grace is getting a 411.
So he's trying to get her out. He wants to let her escape.
Yeah.
So he pep talks her up, calms her down, gets her ready to go, gives her directions, and then leaves her alone.
Yeah, okay, so one of the things that's happening in this house is because they're super rich, they got all kinds of security system, and so they have cameras and everything, but they shut down the cameras, they also lock the doors, and makes it so no one can get out, but then and then they shut down the system, essentially. And the butler is the one kind of in charge of the system, but, he takes off to go make a sandwich or something.
Yeah, he goes makes pots of tea.
Oh, pots of tea. That's right. And maybe have some.
He wants a spot of tea.
Yeah. Well, he's not English.
No, he's not. But he does play the butler role pretty well.
He does. And so that's where Alex goes to the control room to open up the doors and that sort of stuff. Then these folks, they can't seem to find her.
Yep.
And so they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should go use the cameras. And
it's during this conversation that we get the next accidental death, again at the hand of the younger sister, who fucking crossbow bolts another one of the maids in the mouth. And she's just sitting, she's laying on the ground, they pretty sure she's dead, so Aunt Helena goes to do a pep talk about finding this girl before 6 o'clock to kill her. She wants to stick with traditions, so don't use the cameras.
Yeah.
She wants this to be pure.
Yeah.
And in the middle of her speech, the dead maid starts gurgling. So Helena waits, lets the dead maid keep gurgling, and then starts again. And she gurgles again. So Helena goes, fuck it, grabs her battle axe, and as the maid is gurgling, cuts her head off.
So what are the weapons that they use in this?
We've got a spear gun, a crossbow, a Winchester repeating rifle. We've also got a bow and arrow, and a revolver, and a tiny over-under barrel gun, because we have a small Derringer-esque pistol, too.
Yeah.
And
the maids and the butler do not get weapons.
No, and the brother has a hunting rifle of sorts.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're all geared out to hunt. And, again, give the drunk dude the precision hunting rifle, and all of the women the slow projectile weapons, while the two men get the only actual guns. Oh, that's a lie, because what's-her-name has the Derringer.
Well, Fitch also has a crossbow.
Oh, yeah.
That he doesn't know how to use.
Fucking Fitch.
Don't be a bitch, Fitch.
Don't be a bitch, Fitch. Slaps himself. Fitch does excuse himself somewhat early into the movie to go to the bathroom to watch some tutorials on how to use a crossbow.
YouTube is great.
YouTube's a wonderful thing. You can learn anything on there.
You can. You really can.
So, basically, it's... Where do we go from here? Because she gets killed. We get the scene where Grace goes to the game room again, because she gets lost on the way to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And she grabs the elephant gun and the elephant gun bandolier off of the wall.
Before that, she runs into him in the hallway.
Oh, yeah, carrying one of the bodies.
Carrying the body, and then Cokehead just starts randomly shooting.
Yeah, and
you see it in the trailer.
It's the one where she drops her gun and fires. Yeah,
she's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't think any of you
she's
do.
coked out. At this point, she's also taking pills.
Yeah. Oh God,
she's upping and downing. And there's a comment made when she shoots the girl in the face with a crossbow to go get her an edible to level her out.
Yeah.
Like, dude, her system does not know what the fuck she's doing anymore.
It's up, down, sideways. We don't know. So yeah, we go to the kitchen with the butler.
And this is a super tense scene. This is one of the first super tense and slow scenes.
I wasn't sure if the butler was actually going to let her go, or because so she's in there. She's trying to get out the kitchen door, and I'm like, just break the window, hon. I'm like, it's not an unbreakable glass. Just break it. But she doesn't, for whatever reason. There's plenty of windows all over the place.
Well, she goes to in the billiards room at some point, but she doesn't because they're so close that she does that. She can't guarantee she has enough time to get out.
Yeah.
Especially because she now knows that they have guns. So, sure, she can get 10 feet out the window. She's going to get shot in the back.
Serpentine.
Yeah, again, there's 6 of them. She can only dodge so many spears and crossbow bolts and bullets before she finally gets hit.
She's in the kitchen, and then Butler comes in, but she has not loaded her weapon yet, because she gets the elephant gun with a
bandolier of bullets,
bandolier of ammo, and so she hides behind the island in the middle of the kitchen, and she's on one side, and she starts clicking open the gun because it's a
it's a breech loading elephant gun.
There you go. And so she clicks that open, and as he's filling the container with water, and he stops
because he heard the click.
And it's like, come on, dude! Like, you heard that, you know what's going on, and he just stops and he doesn't do anything with it, really. Eventually, he does come around.
Yeah, he does come around and look for her, and she hides again, and then he just kind of chalks it all up to his imagination, goes back to it. So that gives her enough time to load her only shell.
And then she clicks it again, though, and he again just like, nah.
Fuck it, it's just his mind. So he goes back to making his pot of tea, and then he hears the door unlock, because Alex finally got the control panel to work.
Yeah.
So he walks over to the door to go check the lock, and as he's doing this, Grace levels her gun at the man's back.
Yeah.
And she says, move, and he goes, nah. So
because he knows what's up.
Yeah, and she steps forward, and I'm like, oh, you're not going to shoot him. And then she actually pulls the trigger, and I'm super proud until she clicks the second barrel, which had the shell in it, and nothing happens. Because apparently that's just display ammo.
Damn it.
Womp womp.
Damn it.
So then he relieves her of her rifle, and there's a small fight scene involving a kettle of boiling water to the face.
Which wrecks him.
Fucking ow. And yeah.
This is a terrible game night.
Yeah, this has gone horribly wrong. This is going the worst. This is just the worst.
Role playing to the nth degree.
Yeah. So Butler is disabled for right now, so she runs away and
she
runs
gets out the door,
into Daniel in the billiards room. Because at this point she's relieved of the gun.
Didn't she go out to the stable at that point? Nope.
Did she?
Alex has seen when he was 5. Alex is supposed to lead the family. Stables. I have stables next.
Oh, I guess we skipped over the Daniel scene, but we do get a scene where Daniel has a chance to turn her in and doesn't. He decides that he's not going to, because he doesn't even want to be here. He doesn't want to play the game.
Yeah.
He lets her go with a 10-second head start, but actually gives her more like a 30-second head start before calling it out.
Yeah.
And he gets caught kind of fucking up, and this is what leads up to what's her name getting shot in the mouth with a crossbow bolt. And then the kitchen scene happens.
There you go. Yeah.
But now she's running out to the stables. So she's outside running for her life, and she notices a flashlight beam in the distance. So she's gunning away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets to the stable area, and as soon as I saw the stable, I was like, somebody's gonna get John Wick kicked in the face. I swear to God.
By a horse.
I was really hoping somebody's gonna get kicked in the face by a horse to kill them.
Yeah.
No dice.
No.
It's just a bunch of goats.
Unfortunately. You gotta, for the ritual.
Yeah, you've gotta sacrifice something. So she walks in there and hides in there, and the beam gets closer and closer, and it's a kid who finds her.
Yep.
So she stands up and goes, "Oh, hey, Georgie."
Georgie's there, yeah.
How's it going? He goes, "Oh, I found you." And raises the Derringer pistol and shoots her in the fucking hand.
The pistol that Cokehead Mom had dropped earlier when she was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And yeah,
Grace sitting there looking at this hole in her hand crying because she just got shot in the fucking hand.
Yeah, that would hurt.
And then immediately goes, "Fuck this kid," and decks him in the face. Like, oh great. My God.
It's great.
And then she
trips and falls.
Oh, yeah. She gets scared by the goat and falls into what they call later the goat bin or whatever.
I don't know. It's where they put the bodies.
It's where they put the carcasses of the goats and the previous victims.
Yeah, and so she's down there and she sees all that.
And she freaks out. She peeps on the ground.
Of course. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, again, these characters feel so human. Mm-hmm. Because they don't feel like they're forced. It's not like
I'd punch a kid in the face if he shot me.
Yeah, it's like Ripley in the Alien movies.
Oh yeah.
She felt so human up to a point where she kind of realizes that no, I've got to be badass. She gets in the loader and fist fights a fucking queen.
Yeah.
There's never that moment for Grace. Grace feels like a constant human throughout this entire movie. She doesn't get her ha-ha moment till the very end. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
But we see her struggle to get out because now she's one-handed. And she's struggling to get out. And they do a pan shot over the pit. Man. And you see a nail on the left side, or what would be her left as she's climbing up the ladder. And I go, and I'm just like, no. Because she got shot in her left hand. There's a hole in her left hand. So I'm sitting there in my seat cringing and like tensing up. And I can see Justin kind of tensing up too with his jacket. Yeah, and we watch her struggle up. And then she gets up there and the ladder breaks underneath her. So she holds on with one hand and she throws her other hand up right onto the nail. And you hear it sink in and hook.
Yeah.
And she screams and she tenses up and she kicks and she finally gets her way up.
Oh, man.
And has to pull her hand off the nail, which is even worse.
And she's screaming the whole time. I'm a little surprised no one heard.
Yeah, well, they're all in the house still.
Well, it's not that.
It seemed like it was a pretty far time. She was running for a while.
Well, then actually we get, after she escapes the stable, there's, Charity was standing outside.
Oh yeah, Charity's standing outside. She has to run across the lawn, so Charity takes a pot shot at her with the spear gun and completely fucking fails.
Hits a tree.
Yeah, she whiffs super hard.
Because wouldn't you? I mean,
yeah,
you would
it's a spear gun. It's a fucking spear gun.
I'd want to practice with these things.
Yeah, it's a fucking spear gun from like the 16th century. She doesn't want this shit.
Yeah.
So, Grace runs for her fucking life and gets out to the fence and starts trying to get away out of the fence.
She's running towards the fence, north side, so they know where she's going.
They already called it out, and the butler goes to chase her down in the car.
Yeah, because Charity goes in and tells him, and except Grace can't climb the fence.
Yep, she's too injured, so she instead finds where a piece of the fence is broken off enough for her to wrench it off.
I think she ends up doing that, which, I mean, I don't know, you gotta be like Hulk style strong to do that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how broken it is, depends on how old the fence is. If it's rusted out, then I guess you could.
That'd still take a lot of effort. So.
I mean, adrenaline's one hell of a drug.
So is cocaine.
Yeah. So she eventually wrenches it off of it and squeezes her way through here. Meanwhile, she's squeezing her way through, and you're watching the metal in the fence cut into her.
That was bad.
And it hurt the entire time, because you can feel the desperation in this.
And the people just drove by.
Yeah, so she gets out to this car, it stops, and she's like, "You need to help me." And she goes, and the guy in the car goes, "You crazy bitch, fuck you," and drives.
She's all bloody and
she looks like Carrie out of the out of the movie. And he goes, "You crazy bitch, fuck you," and drives away. So she's like, "What the fuck?" And just goes off on a string of swear words.
Fucking rich people, you know? I mean,
and it ends it off with, fucking rich people. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then runs into the forest where the butler quickly follows.
Because the butler's got radar on her or something.
He's got a car with a searchlight on it, apparently. That's enough to find anybody.
And that's, I guess, my one little problem with this is that he should not have been able to be finding her so easily.
Agreed, but out of the entire movie, we only get like one major trope. I'm still pretty proud of this movie. It's excusable.
I'm very happy with it. It's like that part.
Yeah, that's the one part.
He was Jason style. Like he just show up somewhere and knew where you were. Damn,
eventually she does get chased down by the car, and they get into a fist fight.
Yeah. Oh man, she should have. I mean, this was her big opportunity.
This was her big opportunity to get her first kill, and she fucked it up. Yeah. She does wind up choking him out and knocking him unconscious with a piece from her wedding dress.
Yeah, so he almost runs her over, and then he gets out. He's got a dart gun or something. He gets on top of her. She knocks the dart gun out of his hand, and then somehow gets behind him on the ground, grabs some of her wedding dress, and starts choking him. But and chokes him out until he passes out for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's like, so when you choke somebody out, make sure the job is done before you leave, because he's your only pursuer right now.
Give it a long count.
Yeah, give it a long, like, 1,000 minutes, and then just let him go, take the gun, and leave. She doesn't take the gun she knocked out of his hand.
No.
So she gets into the car and starts driving, and then in the middle of the movie, Justin makes a comment about OnStar.
OnStar's gonna fuck it up, I know it is.
And then what does she do? She hits the fucking OnStar button.
Of course she does.
And a guy named Justin answers. It was too perfect. We were cracking up in the middle of this movie.
It really was. Oh.
So she's talking to Justin of OnStar,
I'm so sorry. I just had to follow protocol.
There are people trying to murder me, call 911, and he looks into it.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, and he looks into it and realizes, oh, this car's been reported stolen. I have to turn the car off. It's protocol. She's like, no, Justin. Fuck you, Justin. Don't shut off the car. Turn it back on, Justin.
Swearing.
We do not need the profanities here, ma'am. I'm just following protocol.
Justin, you're a douche.
And it devolves into her breaking down on the car because she's trying so fucking hard. And what's his name? Stevens. Jason's his way to the car, like, instantly. Busts out a window and shoots her with the dart.
Ah, jeez, man.
We get a small dream sequence in the car with Alex and her driving before Alex jump cuts to him with the mask on. I called it was a dream sequence the minute it started happening.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they wouldn't show us how that happened.
Yeah, I found it kind of unnecessary.
I think it was kind of a stopgap to give a break for the pace to catch up. Because at this point we had very high octane, high in stress. So I think they were trying to cut the tension off clean so you could start anew.
Because the very next thing that happens is the car crash.
To start the tension again. Because at this point she's caught, you think she's dead to rights. I seriously do think they put that in there just as kind of a break gap to give an obvious cut.
Okay.
Before the pace picked up again.
Which,
in the moment, neither of us commented on it very badly.
No, so it was fine. It just got thrown in there.
Yeah.
And for the pacing, yeah, sure, okay. But it's like, could they have done something else? I don't know.
Yeah, I also feel like it was foreshadowing. Because again, he was wearing the mask in the dream and then later on.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like it was a dose of foreshadowing. But she wakes up and they're FaceTiming with Stevens while he's driving the car back.
The family inside.
The entire family is gathered around the single smartphone.
So their dad is sitting at a desk and FaceTiming with Stevens, and everyone else is gathered around behind them. It's fantastic for the shot.
Yeah, it looks so fucking good.
And so Stevens is blasting Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Yep.
And so he's not really paying attention. He's super stoked because it's like,
he did it. He fucking did it.
Absolutely, man.
This bitch is dead to rights.
And except she starts coming too because you guys need better tranks.
Yeah, you guys need better horse tranquilizers. If you have enough to get her good cocaine, get better horse tranquilizers.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. And so she starts coming too, and everyone sees about that she's waking up, except Beethoven's rocking
blaring,
out.
so Stevens can't hear them talking.
Nah.
So you just watch her slowly wind up to fucking donkey kick this man in the mouth.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
It's such a good hit.
Yeah.
And then she does it again, and the car veers off the road, crashes, and flips.
Yeah. Where it ends up in the woods.
Yeah.
Where random Daniel's just hanging out in the woods.
Well, we don't know how long she was passed out for, because she wakes up
true.
in the car.
That's true. Yeah. It's so we cut back and forth between the car and FaceTime and the family.
And the FaceTime, and then after she's knocked out in the car, it also cuts to Alex for a talk with Alex.
Yeah, well, Alex is in the bedroom. He got
handcuffed. Caught earlier in the movie and handcuffed for his transgressions.
After Alex opened the doors, he ends up getting caught by his father and
older brother, yeah,
and gets handcuffed to the bed post thing.
Which again, I made the comment in the movie theater. I owned this bed set, so I'm like, nostalgia. These fucking rich pricks, because it's a very, very shitty bed set.
It's from IKEA. Even rich people gotta cut somewhere. It was a guest room.
Hazelnut bullshit.
And so, so we don't know how long she was out for, because Daniel comes out of the woods, but then his father comes out of the woods.
Yeah, his father apparently followed him out there.
So they couldn't have been out there.
But Daniel, the entire movie, has been very much a switch card, because he's gone from being invested in the game to the point where he's willing to hunt her down.
Yeah. To
when he catches her kind of faltering.
Yeah.
And it goes back and forth, but this time he follows through with it, and I think he followed through with it specifically because he knew Dad was watching. Yeah. Because Dad also has a gun.
Yeah, Dad shows up and he's like, well, I'm drunk, I'm not blind.
Yeah, I'm drunk, not blind, Dad.
And they're out in the woods in the middle of the night, so I don't care how blind you are, you can't see shit.
Yeah, so they take her to the house and apparently tie her down to a pentagram.
Yeah.
And this is why I seriously think that Daniel all along was going to help her, but had to play it up as much as possible, because this scene is very telling about Daniel. Mm-hmm. You get a very dramatic scene with them doing a full satanic ritual, drinking from a chalice, about to plunge the sacrificial dagger into Grace, who's tied down to the table, and then they start throwing up blood, like out of nowhere, very, very, very suddenly. And
good timing.
Daniel is just kind of chuckling at first, and then starts untying her, and they go, "What did you do to us? Poisoned!" Yeah. Helena goes, "Poisoned! It was poisoned!"
Which is like, damn,
Helena. And they're puking up blood, and he unties Grace and helps her out. And as they get out, Chastity, Daniel's wife, comes around the corner with a revolver. And he won't get out from in between Grace. He was telling her, no, we're not doing this anymore. Mm-hmm. And Chastity fucking shoots him in the throat.
Because she wants the money. She's a gold digger.
She doesn't want to go back to her shitty life.
She's a gold digger.
So Grace walks up and starts wrestling for the gun. The gun goes off a few more times. Grace finally wrestles the gun out of her hands, goes to shoot her. Click. She has such shitty luck with guns.
She really does.
Throughout the entire movie, she gets fucked with these guns.
Oh, man.
So then, of course, Chastity, all cocky, decides she's going to stroll up on her. And Grace, again, being the most resourceful pro-tag we've ever seen, fucking pistol whips her in the face and knocks her out cold. Yeah. Leaves the gun and goes to help Daniel. And Daniel, on the ground, choking on his own blood, tells her to leave.
Yep.
Because Daniel made a comment earlier in the movie that we all deserve to die. Because he feels the regrets of doing this.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to think it would weigh
on and you. It weighs on some of them, especially Fitch. But Fitch, you don't see a ton of. He feels more like comic relief throughout the entire movie.
He is. Yeah.
But he's definitely
fat and he's just kind of round.
And Daniel is very much the solemn drunk trying to drown his regrets throughout the entire movie. That's his entire character. Mm-hmm. But it comes to a head in such a beautiful way because he finally gets taken down doing the right thing. Yeah. And at this point, Alex breaks out of the bedroom, gets the handcuffs off, and starts finding everything. Mm-hmm. And as he's making his way down, Grace finds herself in the room with the table again. With the big banquet table where I can't remember the ghost's name. is supposed to be.
Oh,
the benefactor.
Benefactor.
The benefactor's ghost. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
scroll down. Maybe it says it. Because it's kind of important. It's a big story point. I'm just super bad with names.
It was No, I don't know. It's the devil. Come on.
Yeah, it's the devil. So she gets into this room, and as she's like, I don't know what she's actually doing in this room. I think she's looking for a window to escape out of or something. An arrow goes flying past her, and it's Mom. And Mom goes, sorry, it's been a while. Yeah. And immediately tosses down her bow and gets into fist-fighting range with Grace and starts choking her out.
Seems sort of weird. It's like, you got a couple more arrows. I get that you're not that great at it, but that was a good shot.
Well,
a little high and wide. But,
at that point, I feel like she wouldn't have had time. Because if Grace saw her going for the reload, Grace would have... Yeah, Grace would have fucked.
Back up, space. Spacing is... Put the table in between yourself or something.
But she doesn't. She instead gets into choking range. So Grace and her...
Fisticuffs.
Start getting fisticuffs and fighting, and eventually the mom gets on top of her and starts choking her out on the ground, and Grace gets the tablecloth, rips it off, and grabs the box. And this is one of the most brutal fucking kills in this movie, because she rams the box into this woman's face, and you hear it, and you hear the crack. And she does it the first time, and she just kind of sits there for a second, and then you see her snap, and she just starts wailing on this woman's face with this box, and you hear it, and the sound design here. I love good sound design when it's done right. This was done so brutally that, it just felt so good.
Good?
You gotta think about it. This fucking girl has just survived hours of hell at these people's hands. Yeah. This is cathartic for her.
That's true.
She's getting relief. She's finally becoming the hunter instead of the hunted. Mm-hmm. And then she sees Alex, who just watched her murder her mother, his mother, and also found his older brother, who he idolized, corpse.
Yeah, and
at this point, I looked at Justin and went, He's turned. He had to turn. And Justin's like, no, it can't.
I didn't. Okay, so like the reason why I said that he couldn't is because he's gone from the beginning to now that he helped her escape.
Yeah.
And then so it's like, why did you change now? Why have such a change of heart after you've seen your family die?
Because he doesn't want to lose anybody else. I mean, he just lost the only two people in the family he liked.
Yeah, but he didn't believe in it. So,
that's the thing. No, they made the comment when he was chained up. His mom made the comment that if you didn't believe in it, she wouldn't have drawn the card. You wouldn't have let her draw the card if you didn't believe in it.
No, if I don't believe in it, go ahead and draw the card. I don't give a shit.
He brought her down there because he did believe in it. He didn't want to risk it. That's what they allude to throughout the movie, at least, is that he believed in it.
See, I'd still play the game, even if I don't believe in it.
I fucking would.
Indulge people.
Fuck that. I'm not that type of person.
Just play the game. Whatever.
And he does turn. The last minute, he turns. On the final hour, he turns, and he's holding Grace's head, and I really thought he was just going to neck snap her, and that was going to be the end of the movie.
Well, they have to do it in the ritual.
They have to do the ritual, but at the same time, I felt like that was going to be the type of ending they went for, and I'm so fucking glad they didn't. Well, that would have been so dissatisfying.
Yeah, Alex was they said that Alex was going to be the new head of the family. He was supposed to
be the new head.
That was his thing, and that's why when he was 5, he saw the man in the chair, and so it all made sense, except that like. It took him so long to build up to that.
It took him... his come to Jesus was watching his mother get murdered in front of him. Yeah. Batman, same thing, I guess. Yeah,
that will do it to you.
So, he turns, chokes her out, gives enough time for everybody to freak out over her mom's corpse, and then tie her to the table. Because, again, I'd like to say it one final time, because it's the last time we get to say it. Grace is the best pro tag in the past 10 years. Because she is strapped to a fucking table, about to be ritualistically sacrificed to the devil, and the last second, she fucking presents her shoulder to let them stab her in the shoulder so she can get out and fuck these people up with the knife.
That would hurt so much. She was being. She wasn't tied down. She was just being. Held
she was just being held down by the guys. Yeah. But again, that is just last minute move. She wants to fucking survive. She's earned this, and they surround her, and then Aunt Helena realizes it's dawn.
Well, so they've been scrambling for a little while now because they're like, oh shit, the sun's coming up. I mean,
oh shit, she's got the knife. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But she throws the curtains open and the sun's up and everybody cowers like they're about to burst into flames.
Because, they're going to be vampires or something.
Yeah.
It felt so weird that was what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, but again, they had no clue what's going to happen. It shows exactly the fact that nobody fucking knows.
So you're telling me I don't have to kill all those things?
Yeah, so there's just... there's like a good 30 seconds of tension and just light talking and what the fuck.
they're all cowering. It was kind of hilarious.
And then he's like, so are we done? Are we good?
Yeah.
And then I can't remember who explodes first.
Helena does.
Oh yeah, Helena at the window explodes first.
So Helena looks at the empty chair and starts saying to the empty chair, I will not let you down. I'll do this again. I
won't let you down again. I'll do this for you. I will kill the girl. The girl must die.
Because it was her husband that was supposed to die the last time, and she couldn't do it. Yeah. And so she's like all in now. And, devil may
And care. She grabs her fucking axe and goes at her and then explodes.
Boom!
Into a bunch of bloody chunks and sprays everybody. And there's a moment of, what the fuck? And then everybody goes, no.
And then I think Dad next. And...
No. Dad was the second last. Oh. It was Fitch, and then what's her name with the kids?
Yeah, they ran out the door.
They ran out the door and all blew up in unison, successively.
The music turns on as well.
Because the fire starts burning everything down. Because Dad gets smacked in the face with a fucking lantern during the nighttime.
Yeah, it set a fire, and no one seemed to care to put out the fire. But I guess
because they're trying to sacrifice her before the sun comes up.
Yeah, and so then everyone just starts exploding except Alex.
And Dad says one final thing. He says, no, I played by the fucking rules. I don't get to die here. And then he explodes.
No, but you played by the rules and lost.
You fucking lost. So Alex, who's the last alive, kind of realizes the fuck of what he just did. Mm-hmm. So he tries schmoozing up to Grace, who at this point is thoroughly disillusioned with your bullshit, dude.
But, so you're smoozing up to the wrong person, though, because it's not up to Grace whether you live or die.
Well, he thought he had a second chance, because he thought he wasn't gonna die at this point.
Well, he was full of shit.
Yes.
He didn't know.
Nobody knew who was gonna die.
And so...
So, he gets real up close, and she finally goes, you know what? She takes off her ring and goes, I want a divorce. Throws the ring at him. As soon as the ring touches his chest... He fucking explodes in her face, and you see the blood go into her mouth.
Oh, God.
And she just kind of chuckles.
She's got a big smile.
And she kind of smacks on the blood in her mouth and wipes it off her lips, and then starts laughing on her way out, and you hear a little snort, and everybody in the fucking theater starts laughing.
Yeah.
And she grabs the cigarette case from the beginning of the movie.
Well, there's one last thing here. She looked at the chair.
Oh, yeah. The fires behind the chair flare up for a moment, and you see the ghost in the chair.
And so it's the devil, essentially.
Yeah, she stares at the chair, and then goes, huh, and leaves.
And so my thought was, is there a new pact with her, or is it just, that was just the end of it, and he was just like, hey, you won, so
that's the end of the I get it. So the next scene is affected heavily by if she was legally married to him at this point. Because they did the ceremony. Most people get legally married before their ceremony is done.
Yeah, you signed the documents right then, having been best man and stuff.
So the issue is, does she now carry the curse because she has the last name? We will probably never find out because they're not going to do a fucking sequel of this if we're lucky.
No.
They shouldn't do a sequel of this. Please, for the love of God, don't. It would have to be in
100 years down the future.
Yeah, it would have to be something like that. But we get her...
So we get flying cars and laser swords.
But she's sitting outside, having her smoke as the police finally arrive. And one of the first things the police officer says to her is, what the fuck happened to you? And she just kind of smiles, in-laws,
yeah.
And the movie cuts. And that's it. That's the end of the fucking movie. And it's so good.
It is. It's great. It's fantastic.
This movie was so good. I loved this movie so much.
Yep.
So, Justin.
Yo.
What would you rate this movie? What did you like about this movie? What didn't you like? What would you rate it?
Like I said, I thought all the people were really, really real. I like the color, how the family was all dark haired and stuff, and dark clothing, and she was so bright in that contrast. I really enjoyed the story, how they used technology or lack thereof, and they cut out the phones and stuff like that. They though, like, I guess they gathered up everyone's cell phone as well, but she didn't have pockets, so there's no reason for her to have a cell phone. I like how they didn't just grab the AK-47 or something. They grabbed old school weapons. It just felt really real.
It felt like a dumb family tradition. Like, that's exactly what this movie exuded, was dumb family traditions.
Yeah, we do it this way because this is the way it's always been done, not because it's easier. And they even ask, like, okay, well, what about the cameras? And they're like, well, no. And then it's like, well, tradition and stuff. And
yeah, well, fuck tradition and goes turn on the cameras.
Yeah, and so it's just, it was really smart, I think. It handled a lot of the questions that you would normally have about a movie like this, a lot of the nitpicks that you could bring up about a movie, and it handled them deftly and concisely in an hour and a half, which I love. The people were real. The dialogue was very real. The swearing, was just normal, how you would expect. It's just this avalanche of words. None of them have, it didn't feel like it was written out and scripted. It just felt like it was from the heart.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the characters. I thought it was just a big enough cast to where you could have a lot of people getting picked off without it getting bloated. Not a lot of dialogue from the other people. Once they started saying something, they died, like the maids and stuff. It felt really, really tight. And so I really enjoyed it. You want my number?
Yeah, I do want your number. I really want to hear your number for this.
I give it, I'm going back and forth between like an 8 or a little above that, an 8 or a 9. I think it's a very, very solid 8. I could be convinced to go a little higher.
Really?
It's
only
not
an 8?
It's not a 10. It's not a 9.
What would be a 9 in this case? Because you only had one nitpick about, which, go back to any of our episodes, you always have the most nitpicks. You only have one about this movie, and it was one set of scenes.
I know.
Like, doesn't that qualify as a 9 for you?
I mean, yeah, I can easily be convinced it's a 9, so I'll give it a 9. Yeah, it's a 9. Sure.
This movie...
Solid 9.
Alright, so you pick a 9.
I'm picking 9.
So from the writing to the actors that were chosen to the actual acting to the shooting that was done, the cinematography, all of the sound design was great. The music choices were amazing. All of the underlying themes of the movie, like the underlying scores, are very subtle and always classical. Like, you don't get a mix of genres here. You get classical the entire time. Mm-hmm. All of the CG that was done in this movie is very sparing. It's done as little as possible, as much of it as practical as possible, and as soon as they do a CG effect, because they didn't want to make that a focal point, they cut away from it in very creative ways. Like when you got the woman who got shot in the face, they show you 2 shots of her on the ground.
Very brief.
Very brief, so you don't have a lot of time to nitpick it.
Yeah.
But again, I would prefer that than give us a long, drawn-out shot of shitty CG.
Yeah, I agree.
You gave us enough to work off of without letting us see the shitty parts of it. That's good directing and cinematography and shooting.
Yeah.
Then when she gets shot in the hand, you get one shot of her having the hole in her hand before it gets covered up and hidden. Mm-hmm. Then we don't have to deal with that anymore. That's one shot of CG. It's cheap and easy to do. When the people start exploding, that explosion CG is actually something I can do. but it's convincing enough with the lighting and the fact that at this point in the movie, they weren't afraid to go a little campy, and that was perfect. Yeah. The writing was just meta enough to make it humorous without being a comedy. Like, this movie, honestly, this movie to me is a 10. This movie is a movie I have been dreaming for because it's not quite a comedy and it's just enough horror to keep me invested. I love this movie so much. I don't agree with that rating at all.
7.2 on IMDb.
I think that's a full of shit. Yeah, I would give this movie a 10.
Jeez.
It's so well written. The acting is great. The cinematography is amazing. I can't give this movie enough props for how well it did everything. And when our only nitpick is one set of scenes that was needed for pacing, I can't even really fault it for that.
I want to know what people are upset about.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into some reviews when I get home because I don't understand how it's so low on IMDb.
I mean, it might be higher elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, check Rotten Tomatoes real quick. We have the internet.
Oh, that's true.
And we're at the end anyway, so let's pad our runtime.
Okay. Tomatoes.
Because this movie was...
I guess I could just go to there. And then I go to... Come on. And then Ready or Not.
God, Rotten Tomatoes is fucking slow sometimes.
Ready or I think it might be my computer too, but where is it?
87%?
87.
That's actually not bad for... actually, 87 on the tomato meter. That's not bad at all.
All right.
For Rotten Tomatoes.
So I guess most people...
And audience is 83. I mean, that's definitely not bad for Rotten Tomatoes.
Do you think that Samara Weaving was good casting for this?
Yes. There were definitely other actresses who could have done it, but I think she brought just enough cynicism in her acting to this to make it work, as well as I don't see a lot of other people pulling off this movie the same way. I could definitely see, like you brought up Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. I do believe she could have done a different take on this character. I'm not sure if that take would have been better or just as good, just because I don't think another actress that I've seen could have pulled off that kind of deadpan humor. Mm-hmm. Like, she was just human enough and just not well known enough as an actor, or as an actress in this case, to make this feel human. Like, none of the people in this movie are very big names.
No.
And that adds to it, to be honest.
I don't even know what Samara Weaving's been in.
I know she's been in some stuff, but...
Well, yeah, but I don't know what else.
It's just enough to make them feel natural. And, I fucking enjoyed this movie so much. It was so good.
I mean, attempts to critique the super rich... No, I mean, not really. I mean, sort of. It's that they're super rich, but it's that they're... Like, they have a deal with the devil.
Okay, so they make a single joke throughout this entire movie about what the rich do behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's hard.
And apparently that's like half the critiques that are being pointed out.
Flirts with big concepts and then flakes out.
What do you mean?
Concept are you talking about? Dude?
I hate vague reviews. We can't be here because we'll just critique people's critiques. A 10, solid 10.
Well, Angel Has Fallen's got a solid 41%.
Ooh.
Glad we're not seeing that one.
Nope, fuck that movie.
Yeah, well, I might see it anyway.
I'm so sorry. Anyway. You're invested at this point. You've seen the other two already.
Yeah, well, so have you. Didn't you?
Yeah, when they fucking came out, I pirated them.
Oh, well, I mean...
Because then they were free. I didn't pay shit for them.
Well, we're already paying for Stubby Pass, so...
That's fair, yeah.
That's why I'm going to go see it. I would never pay for that movie.
No.
I mean, dude, I've been seeing so many more movies because of our show here.
That's true. We have seen a lot of movies.
Yeah. So, you gave it a 10.
I'm giving it a 10.
I give it a 9. And yeah, fantastic.
That's a great movie. I also want to point out, I think this movie is perfect for us.
Yeah.
I believe this movie hits the perfect genre for us, because we talked about this before, how me and you really like horror and horror comedy. So this movie hits all the right notes for us.
Well, yeah, I thought, yeah. I I don't watch that many horror movies, but some of the stuff gets really campy and really dumb, and this one I didn't find that at all. I was totally expecting it to be that. But
yeah, I was expecting I went in half expecting a super campy or a super serious movie, and I'm glad I didn't get either. I'm glad we got a movie that kept it just meta enough to make these people feel like people and not like actors or like take Scary Movie. Everybody's seen one of the Scary movies. If it had been that campy and over the top, I would have hated this movie because it would have felt like a Scary Movie ripoff. But with it being this funny, actually, there was another movie that did this, but it was a slightly more campy movie. And I think it was Drag Me to Hell. And it was a movie about a girl who made up, who got cursed by a gypsy, basically.
Yeah, I don't
and
think
it is super campy, but it does the same type of meta humor with itself throughout the entire movie. And yeah, I mean,
I think Samara Weaving made the show here.
Yeah, her acting was incredible, and again, her dialogue, whether it was written specifically for her or not, because she fits so perfectly in this role.
Well, it was the dismissiveness at the very beginning to then the realization that she's coming around.
And the fact that she handled a breakdown. Like, I felt bad for her during that first scene where she realizes what the fuck is going on. But then you just kind of watch her demeanor shift, and it's not sudden. It doesn't feel snappy. She slowly gets desensitized and realizes that, no, fuck these rich assholes. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she could have given up, but instead she powered up.
And instead of becoming an uber badass all of a sudden, a la Ripley, she does a gradual turn over the movie. For the first half of this movie, she runs from fucking everybody. She doesn't fight anybody she doesn't want to.
Wouldn't you?
And then when she realizes that running is no longer an option, she decides, fuck it, bares her teeth and kicks the shit out of some people. And that just made it so much better.
Yeah.
So, yep, solid 10 from me and 9 from Justin.
All
this
right.
is probably going to be our highest rated movie ever.
Next to Spider-Man, which was 10.
Which was,
And so, yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man was awesome.
God, did you hear what happened? So
a quick aside, yes, I did hear what happened. It's not going to last. I'm already putting money down on it.
You think they're going to come back together?
They fucking have to. Sony cannot commit this type of suicide on their media.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about this little other thing here because I kind of agree with you in that, does Sony not realize that the value added by being part of the MCU is, a couple $100 million?
Yes.
And that people, the most people would not go see Spider-Man if they're not part of the MCU.
Yeah.
And
especially if it's not fucking Tom Holland, because now we're invested in him again.
It will be Tom Holland. He has two more movies, I believe, under contract.
Christ. So even if he does go to Sony permanently, which I doubt is going to happen, he still has 2 movies.
Yeah.
Okay. That is
But they're going to try and do a Spider-Man Venom crossover, which is going to be terrible.
Yeah, which is, again, I don't think Sony's willing to commit such a suicide on their character and die on this hill.
Yeah, because I would kind of boycott Spider-Man.
Well, Sony's already getting boycotted. There's the boycott Sony hashtag is trending as hell. My roommate is super into this.
Okay.
Like, I get hourly updates now, and it's kind of getting annoying, but at the same time, I love you, so I'm gonna keep taking the updates as I can.
So one of the reasons why they decided to break this deal is because Marvel was getting very little out of the box office money.
They were getting
5%.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, Kevin Feige is putting all this time into it, and he can't put that time in without
he's not getting paid and
piece of the pie.
Again, Kevin Feige fucking made these movies great, so don't fuck him over during this. Let him take the money he needs to make your movie better, because he'll make you more money.
Yeah, and so I can't believe that they would break apart this marriage.
So again, Sony won't die on this hill. They can't. And then there's the other meme that's going around.
You know they will. They're gonna.
If they do, there's the other meme that's going around where Marvel can just fucking buy Sony. Disney could go, fuck you, and buy them.
Yeah, Disney's kind of bought everything recently. You know, they bought Fox and they bought all that stuff. So they won't be able to bunch of money.
I don't think Sony or Disney can buy out all of Sony. I think the FTC would shut it down because that would be a monopoly.
Yeah, I just want them to get Spider-Man.
I'm pretty sure they could throw enough money at Sony to just buy their intellectual properties and all their shows.
Okay, so one of the things about Spider-Man, though, so one of the problems I find for Sony is that all they have is Spider-Man. And in that, they have one hero. And then they're trying to make Venom into another hero, in which he sort of kind of has been at times in the comics. And then they're trying to do like Sinister Six. And so what they're trying to do is create more and more standalone properties. Then they make Spider-Verse, and they're going to do another animated thing of that. And then they're talking about bringing back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and doing a whole thing there. And it's like, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm really over Spider-Man. I know he's super popular, but there's too much of a good thing sometimes. Contrast with Marvel, where they could give you a whole bunch of different characters.
Yeah,
they have thousands of characters.
They also have scheduled pacing. That is a huge part of them.
But then one of the things that Marvel can do is that people are like, oh god, what are they going to do with Iron Man? Are they going to like recast Robert Downey Jr. and all that stuff? And it's like, no, they can just let him go away. They don't need to bring in Iron Heart or Iron Lad because they're lame. They can just get a whole new character and say, hey, we're going to bring back Blade, or we're going to do Doctor Strange, or we're going to do Eternals, or they can elevate Guardians of the Galaxy, this offbeat, who knows what the hell that is. Oh, great, it's great. What does Spider-Man got? He's still Spider-Man. I don't know. And so for Sony, all they have is Spider-Man. They're just going to keep throwing it at you and more or less shove it down your throat and expect you to like it. And I don't think that's sustainable. And so I think Sony has to come back to the table with Marvel to make this relationship work.
Sony doing this would be a crash and burn kamikaze strategy, and they would fucking kill themselves.
It will work for a little while, but it's
the first 2 years.
The end game for them is
they'd go bankrupt, and Disney will buy them anyways. I mean,
they'll eventually just have to be like, well, kind of like where they were before, in that they're desperate to have
Fantastic
good
Four.
Spider-Man property,
where they just make one every few years to keep the IP,
which is exactly
what they did. Which is exactly what they did with Fantastic Four, because they're petty motherfuckers.
So of course they are.
We will. I don't think it'll last. I seriously think they're going to realize that dying on this hill will kill their company.
I'm not sure if it will kill the entire company. Spider-Man is the most profitable thing they have.
It will kill at least their movies. Because again, Sony does enough outside of movies that they could sustain that part of the company. Uh-huh. But producing their movies and stuff like that, that's going to die. They're going to have no revenue coming in from it. They're going to have, like, their shareholders are going to go, no, we can't sustain this, fuck off. Mm-hmm. And I don't think they're willing to let that go. Because again, the end game is, if they let that go, it's still going right back to Disney. So at this point, they might as well as keep this symbiotic relationship going and get money out of it while they can, before Disney just goes, fuck you, I'm buying your company. Mm-hmm. Because again, Disney can do whatever the fuck they want at this point. They have that much money.
So which one is the symbiote, Marvel or Sony?
Sony is most certainly the parasite here. Let's be honest. So Marvel is throwing them, Disney is throwing them a bone, and Sony's going, no, fuck you, I have my table scraps. It's like, no, you need to take the bone.
I mean, if we weren't doing the show, I could guarantee you I would not go see any of those Spider-Man movies. I don't care. I would not have seen Into the Spider-Verse. I know you told me, oh, it's great. And I
loved that movie so much.
I thought it was just okay. I mean, it's fine.
It's very much it's one of the few, can't even call it MCU. It's one of the few Marvel character movies where I feel like if you don't have a connection to the comics, you won't enjoy it as much.
The part I didn't like was that they did not use Spider Noir, the anime Spider, and Porker as good or as much as they should have. They focused on the three other human characters, the ones that we could relate to better. Yeah. And it's like, well, then why did you include these other guys? Yeah. And then I also really didn't like Kingpin's design and stuff. So I'm just like,
yeah.
And the whole concept, he should have been like, oops, because
whoopsies.
Yeah, or I really wanted him to be successful and get Vanessa Fish instead of Fish. I heard that joke. I heard that someone else had made that joke somewhere else, but when I said it, it was completely organic.
Yeah, so I'd like to point out that's actually one of the movies that started this podcast, because him and I started talking about that movie as well as like 2 other movies we had seen previously. It was Endgame.
No, it was, or was it? Oh, yeah, we started talking about Endgame. We ended up talking about it for like 2 hours.
We ended up talking about Endgame for 2 hours while I was at work.
It's just
bullshitting while I worked. And then Spider-Verse, we talked about that too. And we finally decided, let's just do a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
And that created the GreyVillain.
Woo!
Woo! Now you have our origin story too, so we can remake it 10,000 times.
Damn straight. It's going to make more money.
We're about to kill a 4th Uncle Ben. That's what's about to happen.
Actually, yeah. Oh man, someone was like talking about Spider-Man. And was like, they could talk about Uncle Ben some more. I'm like, no, god damn it,
Jesus
no.
fucking Christ, Uncle Ben needs to stay dead.
Just stick with your rice.
Just like Martha.
Just do your rice.
Why do you know that name? When Justin realized what I was saying. Oh
man.
Fucking Martha. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been the GreyVillains podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Like, comment, subscribe, other things, and yeah, because we really need your help. We need the viewers, listeners.
We want to send our message elsewhere and boycott Sony altogether.
Yeah, let's all do it together. And with the GreyVillain at the forefront.
Together. One more time. Oh, wait.
So, yeah, anything else you want? Got anything to talk about? Recommend? Anything? Did you see something cool?
In the way of recommending, damn it, I did see something recently. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll remember next week.
Not much of a recommendation.
Because I'm gonna be watching it tonight anyways. So.
Okay.
So next week we're either doing Angel Has Fallen or the Dark Crystal Netflix series.
Yeah, Dark Crystal Netflix series comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
And next Friday the 30th. Is that what I found? Yeah, it had to be on the 30th because I looked at
Yeah, next Friday is the 30th.
And so we will be binging that and taking a good hard look at it. Or Angel Has Fallen and just laughing at that.
And just talking shit about that movie for 2 hours.
Because it's stupid. I'll probably go see it anyway.
Yeah. And It Chapter 2 is the week after that.
Ooh.
And I'm so fucking excited.
I've heard good things about Bill Hader in that. Bill Hader's character is going to steal the show.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the second one more than the first one. I gotta rewatch the first one.
Rewatch the first one because me and you talked about it in the car. You don't remember shit.
I saw it. I gave it like 2 out of 5 stars on Netflix.
And to be fair, the first one was a lot of setup, but I would prefer them do this in a 2-parter because again, we got the original movie we got had so much condensed.
Yeah.
That was really hard to follow.
Yeah.
So I'm much happier with the slow pace they took with this new reboot to give us a more in-depth look at the story and then follow up with how the Losers Club comes back and beats the shit out of Pennywise. So cool. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Fuck you, clown.
Yeah, fuck you, you clown.
All right.
Later.
Peace.